Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the Momentum Shift is what you've been looking for.
Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show. I'm your host, C. Eric Collier, also known as the Mayor of Motivation, and I'm excited to have you joining me today. As every week, we have a special guest on here who is a true momentum shifter. My guest this week, you got to welcome Omar Harris. He's a powerhouse leader, author, and coach who knows a thing or two about driving results, building high-performing teams. From his humble beginnings in Pittsburgh to his success in the pharmaceutical industry, Omar's journey is a testament to his strength in forging connections, inspiring confidence, and overcoming obstacles. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome this week's guest, Omar Harris. Welcome to the Momentum Shift, a show where we get inspired, get moving, and get results. My name is Eric Collier. I'm a veteran of the United States Army and Navy. I'm a two-time Amazon International bestselling co-author, and I'm an entrepreneur. And I love helping people, and I love coaching people. And I've done that successfully for over 20 years because I really want to see people win. And there is no greater feeling of joy than to witness someone who has just experienced that aha moment go on and change their lives and start doing what they thought was impossible and turning it into what is possible for them. So my goal, my mission each week is to simply do this: help improve lives. That's all I want to do, help you improve your life, because you deserve to live in the greatness that is you. Now, every Friday, I want you to be ready. I want you to be ready for either an interview of these incredible people, a solo episode with myself, or maybe a remix of multiple interviews of these incredible, inspiring people. Begin. The goal is simply to help improve lives, and we're going to leave you with some nuggets for success. It's going to help you create that momentum shift that's going to really change your life. But don't stop there. I want you to go over to Apple Podcasts. I want you to subscribe, and I want you to leave feedback, because that feedback, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to help to improve the show, because I really want to give you what you need to get that momentum shift in your life so that you can get going with making that impossible possible for you. So I'm really grateful to have you join me. I'm looking forward to having your feedback. And the one thing I'm really grateful about is I get to hear your stories of how you created that momentum shift that changed your life. So get ready, because the momentum shift is what you've been waiting for. Omar, thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, brother. Happy to be with you.
Hey, so how's everything going, man?
It's been crazy. I've been on the road for 8 straight weeks, all over the world. And so, and I'm going to be going on the road till the end of the year. So really just blessed to be busy and booked.
Yeah.
And happy to be with you today, brother.
Hey, great, man. Thank you. Glad to have you join me. But that's just a true example of what happens when you set yourself on fire, right? People come to watch you burn. They want to have you join and share the joy, man. But the knowledge that you have, you're sharing it. I think when I first met, we met a couple of years ago, and I think you had just launched your book, Jedi. And
yes.
I remember about it. I'm sorry, but the Jedi leader, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah.
How's that? How's everything going since then?
It's been going really well. I kind of, I was deep in the DEI space, and but even when I was in the space, I kind of was pivoting to be more inclusive and make sure that the kind of work that I was doing was the work that was going to be meaningful and sustainable for my clients. And so since that point, I've kind of been moving into what I call an intentional leadership practice, which is really about making sure that we are, utilizing vision and purpose as the motivators for keeping us on track and focused toward delivering our goals and keeping our teams aligned. And as a part of that, I just launched a new book in September of this year called Hire the Right Whom, which is about bringing in high character individuals right from the start and helping you avoid making costly hiring mistakes that are difficult to overcome, especially if you're a small to medium sized business. Really, every bad hire can really set you back. So I wanted to do something that would help small, medium-sized businesses to bring in the right types of people right from the beginning who are going to thrive, stay with your enterprise, and help you grow your business moving forward.
Oh, cool deal, man. We're gonna touch on that. Hiring the
Yes,
right.
sir.
We're gonna talk a little bit about that. I thought that was an interesting title for a book. So we'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about how you came up with that a little bit later on. But
yeah.
we one thing I want to talk about, man, is always my first question. It's about momentum shifting, moving
Mhm.
forward when you get stuck. So my question is always, what does momentum shifting mean to you, and how has it changed your life?
So I think that, it's important for us to understand when you have the momentum and when you don't have the momentum.
Mm,
So
yeah.
the way that I describe that is sometimes you're riding the wave and sometimes the wave is riding you.
Right.
And so there's different things to do depending on whether you're riding the wave or whether the wave is riding you. I've been in both situations where, leading large organizations, the wave was definitely riding me. I had to figure out how to get back on top of that thing
Yeah.
or just survive, the tumult of being
Right.
spun around in that washing machine. Other times you find yourself in a situation where you are on the wave and you're like, how do I keep this thing going? How do I maintain this momentum for as long as possible? How do I ride this wave? And so for me, it's kind of like knowing, first of all, situationally, which position are you in? Are
Yeah.
you on the wave or are you being ridden by the wave? And then secondarily, what do you do in either circumstance? So when I find myself in a situation where I'm being ridden by the wave,
Uh,
what all great surfers do is when they find themselves tossed off of a wave, they go down. They
yeah.
swim down because the deeper you swim, the calmer the water is.
Got you.
And so you
Okay.
swim down, you
Uh-huh.
recenter yourself, and then when the wave has passed, you come back up and you
Okay.
get back on the board and you get ready to ride again. So you
Yeah.
have to kind of do something and reset yourself when you find yourself in that difficult situation.
So that's kind of like going back to the lab.
Exactly. Going back to the lab. When
Yeah.
you're riding the wave, the way you stay on that wave is you got to really be very focused, be very present, and really find that flow state. Like, how do you find your flow state where basically everything feels automatic? It feels like you just, like in basketball, the hoop is as wide as,
Yeah.
it's like the ocean. You're throwing a ball into the ocean. So really have to capture your flow state so you can stay in that momentum zone as long as possible.
Yeah. It's kind of like you ever watch somebody in motion. It's like they're moving just effortlessly, but they're
Yeah.
flying, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yep.
They're rolling. They're just moving right along, man. I
Exactly.
like how you broke that down, man, because it's important. I think that's the piece right there. So many times people get momentum, and just because they got a little momentum, a little success, they start easing back on what they were doing before, and
No,
things start going
no.
south.
Exactly. That's when you lock in even more
Yeah.
when you go even harder. Like you can't, because you don't know how long it's going to last.
Right.
And we cannot assume. And what we know is that all these things are fleeting, right?
Yeah.
Those are extreme states.
Yeah.
So when you're in an extreme state, you want to make sure that you can maintain that as long as possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's, if you think about it, we used to have skateboards,
Oh
growing up,
yeah.
right?
Oh
The only
yeah,
way
for
you're
sure.
gonna keep moving was putting that work in, right? You
Hmm.
might do a
Hmm.
little couple kicks and get your speed up, but
Right.
once you stop moving, you slow down, right?
Exactly.
Unless you got on, we had a hill called Madison Hill. Now,
Okay.
mind you, the skateboards we had were not these big, huge skateboards with the soft wheels. We had the little bitty plastic ones
Oh
with the
yeah.
hard
Yeah.
wheels.
Yeah.
And so you
No.
get on
Yeah.
Madison Hill and you go straight down and you'd be flying. And of course, we didn't have any gear on.
Right.
All it took was a little rock,
And you were done for. It was a wrap.
and you're going like you said, that wave is kicking off. But I tell you, man, it's just a great feeling when you get things going and you start having
Mm,
the successes like you're having, man. Um,
yeah.
I
Well,
know,
I like to say it takes a long time to become an overnight success, right?
yes, sir. Yes. 20 years and you're an overnight success.
Exactly, right. You did everything you did in your whole life comes together, and then you got to maintain that momentum.
Yeah, yeah. So again, part of the momentum shifting is like you said, moving forward when you get stuck. A lot of times when you make a career move like you did, I mean, you were successful in the pharmaceutical industry, but you made that career jump and to, being a speaker, being a trainer, and leadership development. What was it that kicked that shift off?
Well, I mean, I was very fortunate in my case where, my company had been purchased by another company.
Okay.
And because of that purchase, and my decision at that time to exit because of family issues, my mother was very sick at that
Mhm.
exact same moment. So I knew I wasn't going to continue my corporate career, but
Yeah.
luckily I had some runway because my company basically gave me a severance package. But,
Okay.
in addition, what I always say to people is, create your own runway.
Yeah.
And I say, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to have a startup or something like that nature, you need to have a year and a half to 2 years worth of salary in the bank.
Got you.
You
Yeah.
got to give yourself runway
Yeah.
because you know this on this side of the business. Corporate clients don't pay on the 15th of the first and the 15th. You
Right.
get paid 45 days, 60 days, 90 days.
We got a process to go
You got a
through.
process to go through. You got to get on
Yeah.
procurement. You got to get master service agreements,
Yeah.
and so you got to have some financial runway in order for you to actually do what you want to do or live your dream. If you say that's your dream,
Yeah.
and I don't care whether that's real estate or whether that's any kind of business endeavor, you need some upfront capital,
Yeah.
and that's why you have to live below your means
Right.
because that way you can save up and you can make these decisions and be free to
Yeah.
make the decision and not be kind of a slave to your salary.
Right. Yeah.
And I was never a slave to my salary. Plus, I got this bolus infusion of cash, and I was like, okay, well, it's now or never for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Either I'm going to do this now, or I'm going to be working in corporate for the next 20 years of my life. And
Yeah.
I just took that opportunity to kind of bet on myself and start slowly building. Slow, you know
Yeah.
how it is. You slowly building. It's like those comedians going on the road, doing it. You're set for the first time, getting booed off stage, bombing,
Yeah.
but you bomb up. You got to learn from those experiences, or early failures, and you just have to try to get that. Like you said, you start pushing that boulder up the hill, up the
Yeah.
mountain, and you
Right.
got to keep sustaining that effort. And then at some point, you hit an inflection point where now you're rolling down a mountain,
Yeah.
it's difficult to stop. So,
Yeah.
but it's just the most important thing is to give yourself the option,
Right.
and I gave myself the option by being financially aware and financially savvy, and that allowed me the opportunity to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah. I mean, you hit some key points there, man. So a lot of people never chase their dreams because financially they're stuck to the job. They
Yeah.
got the brand new car out there. You got the purchase of the new house. I made that mistake at the same time, purchase at the same time.
Oh gosh.
That's a bad error. But
Mhm.
you learn from that.
Of
But many
course.
people don't make that decision because, hey, I got to get back to work and keep the stuff that I have, not
Right.
willing to give up too much stuff. I think that's a big piece. So, and then let's talk a little bit about your financial savvy.
Right.
That's something you picked up on the job, right? Somebody you met, am I correct?
Yeah. So I have really good friends who put me on,
Mhm.
early on to investing.
Yeah,
Every dollar has to have a job.
yeah, yeah.
One of the models that I love that I've been, kind of living for the last 15, 20 years was the 50-30-20 model.
Okay.
I know you heard about this. So 50-20-30-20. So when you get your salary,
Yeah,
50% of your salary is for your bills.
there we go. Mhm.
50% is for bills. So you just,
Yeah,
you pay all your bills with your 50% of your salary.
yeah.
30% of your salary is for investing.
Okay. Yeah,
And then 20% is discretionary. So for whatever your wants or needs are. We get that so back. We spend 80% on between our salary and our wants and needs, and we don't really have that much money left over for
yeah.
investing and saving. And so, if you just understand compound interest,
Mhm.
that's a very simple concept.
Right.
Keep putting money in, it will double, triple, quadruple, it's multiples on multiples.
Yeah,
That's how money works. Once you understand the math of money,
yeah,
then and the earlier you do it, the better off you are. The younger you are
yeah,
to start saving, the better off you are.
yeah.
Um, and it doesn't matter how much you're saving, it's that you have to save.
Yep.
You have to just dedicate yourself to saving. And that gives you the discipline financially that, okay, what am I saving this for?
Yeah,
So let's say you have a family. Well, then maybe part of that money is going to your child's education, but part of it might be just to enable you to do these things that we're talking about, to write the book that you want to do, to publish the story, to take an entrepreneurial venture, to go work at a startup, and not get paid maybe for 6 to 8 months. You got to give yourself runway in order for you to achieve your dream. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very complicated. The older we get, the more handcuffed we are by lifestyle, by bills, by expenses, mindset. So it's the older we are, the harder it is. But doesn't mean you can still start today from wherever you are. But you gotta, like, saving has got to be a part of your financial regimen. You can't, luck your way or tax refund your way into a startup. Like, you gotta, you're gonna need to put some more dedication behind that.
And that's something that so at 19 I was introduced to the rule of 72.
Okay.
And they'd always, and then you hear the concept of pay yourself first.
Yes.
And that's a huge piece. It's hard to get out of that mind frame because the bills are sitting there looking at you and you're trying to keep the lights on and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
and then, sure.
And then you talk about as you get older, it's harder to get you out of there. And I said mindset, because how we were brought up, how we saw money operated, we didn't do those things. So it's a new concept, to be able to wrap your mind around it and go, pay myself first. I don't know, I gotta get these bills paid.
And we're in our community, we're afraid of debt.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the world, debt is a tool.
Yeah.
But for us, we're scared to death of debt. We're always trying to pay off our debts. And debt is a tool. Credit is a tool.
Right.
Once you learn how to wield that tool, then you see the power of money.
There we go. I like it, man. I like it. That's a huge piece. So when you go and you work with individuals as well, and you kind of use that as part of the tools that you provide with your training as well.
Well, definitely. I mean, I think it's what I call the 5 types of love. Okay. And so one of the conversations I have with my coaching clients is the 5 types of love. So you have to have self-love, interest love, team love, purpose love, and financial love. Okay. And so so basically self-love is, that's your health, that's your habits, that's your sleep, that's your food intake, that's your exercise, that's self-love. Yeah. Team love is having the right people around you who aren't just yes people, people who will tell you, give you feedback, tell you, keep you on course when you're off track. Purpose love is you need to have a vision, a meaning to your life. Yeah. Something that really drives you to get up in the morning, and that's something you want to contribute to the world beyond, your progeny, your family, like a legacy you want to leave. Yeah. Interest love is you just got to remain curious. Like, is it travel? Is it food? Is it, whatever your hobbies are? Part of being a well-rounded individual is having hobbies and having interests outside of a career and outside of work, because that's how you re-energize yourself and get yourself back into flow so you can get back on that skateboard or back on that surfboard, as we talked about earlier. And then the last piece is that financial love. Yeah. So basically working to live and not living to work. And making sure you have some sort of financial, working to live and not living to work. So you have some sort of financial principle. So I do an assessment with my executive coaching clients around where they are on the 5 types of love. Okay. And based on their feedback to themselves through me as their coach, we build a plan. So let's say, for example, that your self-love is great, your team love is good, but your purpose love is not there, interest love is not there, and then financial love is not there. Well, that's what we're going to work on, these 3 here. Gotcha. We're going to maintain these 2, work on these 3. And so really, it's just a really great way to just understand and get into the world of my clients and really help them, manifest whatever it is they're trying to manifest. You got to think about, you need to concentrate on the things that are going to give you energy and give you freedom. And so in those 5 types of love is freedom, actually.
I like that, man. That goes to why people get stuck, why people become stagnant. Something's missing and they don't know how to get it. And they're not, in many cases, they're not trying, or they're looking for a microwavable answer, right?
Right. We all want the silver bullet. We all want the quick answer. Right. If you look at anybody who's been successful, it never came easy or quick. It may have looked that way to the outside, but talk to those people, watch them on podcasts. When you hear their stories, you're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that person went through all that stuff to get to where they get to.
You went through all of that?
Right. Well, you look good now. You know, you blow it up real nice. Your money will make some people look real good, but like it corrects a lot of things, but it don't correct the internal scars
Yeah.
and the trauma and the things you had to overcome that only you know that you went through to
Right.
achieve success today. Because success has a cost.
Yeah.
There is a cost to being successful.
Yeah.
And
Lamar
people
said you
don't,
got to pay the
yeah,
cost to be the boss.
pay the cost to be the boss. Or Ric Flair said, you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
There we
So,
go, right? Yeah, man. It's a huge piece. It's like this. Those who are successful do so because they weren't whining and complaining about it. Those who are
exactly.
whining and complaining about what they're going through are successful. Big
Yeah.
difference.
Well,
Yeah.
like Stephen Covey says, there's two types of people. There's proactive people and there's reactive people.
Yeah.
And so if you want to have a life, you want to build a life, you want to build success, you must be proactive.
Yeah.
You cannot be on the back foot. You've got to kind of take control of your own agency and make sure that you are putting energy into the things that you control and influence, and let the worries kind of let them go. Like, I mean, I never understood people who complain about the weather or traffic.
Nope.
I never understood it because I've never ever complained about the weather or traffic. Like, these are
Right.
things that just are, like, they exist. Like, why would
Yeah.
you can't do nothing about it.
Nothing.
I mean, get up earlier, okay?
Right.
Watch the weather report at night. Get up
Yeah.
and do, but you can always do something. So
Yeah.
don't complain. Like, don't be a victim. And imagine like someone who that's every day of their life. So imagine what everything that happens to them, they're just in a reactive mode
Yeah.
all day long and cannot get any more. To your point, they can't make any momentum happening because they're
Yeah.
on the back foot.
Right. I think one of the things I always talk about is the weight of negativity. I've always heard that at least one negative comment, or yeah, for every one negative comment, you got to have at least 17 positive comments. So
Wow.
you think about the weight of that negativity. So
Yes.
now you wonder why people are hunched over walking around. You wonder why the look on their face, they're 30 years old, but they look like they're 50.
Right.
Just all the different things, man, that weighs you down. So
For sure.
it's
For
it's
sure.
it's a it's a positive thing to become a positive person.
1000%. 1000%.
Man, I love that, man. So what is it that you do when it comes to, well, let's skip off of that for a second. We'll come back to that. I want
Good.
to talk
Good.
about your book. I
All
want
right.
to talk about your book. Hire the right whom. I think
Yes.
that's a great piece right there. Because when you look at hiring processes, sometimes some of them are not correctly operated, right?
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
In some cases, there's a lot of hiring people that but they're not great leaders.
Hmm.
Talk to me about the hiring the great whom. Or the
So 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 basically, so first of all, whom is an acronym. It's an
right.
acronym for work ethics. And W is work ethic, H is heart, O is optimism, and M is maturity.
Okay.
Now, where this came about was I read a book in the early 2000s called From Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Okay.
And one of the principles of that book, we was talking about what makes, basically organizations have sustainable greatness over long periods of time, like 30 years of sustained financial greatness,
Mhm.
was a principle he called first who, then what.
Okay.
So the best companies actually don't start with their strategy. They start with the people. They get the right people on the bus
Okay.
and the wrong people off the bus.
All right.
And then they decide where the buses are going to go. And so I always thought that was a profound insight, but they didn't answer the question, who are the who?
Got you. Yeah.
So who are these who?
Right.
And
That's
when
another
I was
book.
so when I was leading my biggest organization in Indonesia as general manager and president of that operation, I wanted to implement this process, but I didn't have a lot of time because I had lost half my leadership team in the first 6 months of me joining this position.
All
So I
right.
had to hire people very quickly, even though I had tried to implement a very structured hiring process.
Yeah.
But I still made two major mistakes in terms of hiring people who looked great on paper and had a lot of experience, but they did not have the character attributes that matched my leadership vision and my leadership style. And
Gotcha.
so consequently, we had conflict for 2 years
Okay.
together because they were very crucial leaders on my leadership team, and we just weren't aligned in what leadership was and how it meant.
Right.
So I began to work them out of the organization, and then I promised myself that I would never make this mistake again. And
Okay.
so I invented a behavioral interview tool that I called the Whom. I
Okay.
added the M. So I wanted to basically understand before I hired somebody what was their definition of work ethic, how much of their heart and their selves did they bring to work? Did they actually have passion for the work that we were doing and operating in the space that we were operating in? Were they optimistic? Were they people who were solution oriented, who were resilient and were resourceful and would find the answer? And maturity was the real key. Were they diplomatic? Were they self-aware? Were they emotionally intelligent? Were they just good team players, like glue people? And once I began utilizing this questionnaire that I designed, I never made a bad hire again.
Nice. Okay.
And I was in Indonesia, and then I went to Brazil and did the same thing at scale in my operation. I'm batting 1,000%
Okay.
with this tool. So now I was like, okay, I published a book in 2019 called Leaderboard, The DNA of High Performance Teams. I put that model in that book, and it sat there. And over the last 6 years, I've been like, I need to do something more with that. Like, I need to get this thing off the page and into the real world. And so I started designing a tech startup, a tech platform where companies can actually assess new joiners, assess prospective candidates through a psychometric assessment built off of the Whom principles. So for each of those letters, work ethic, heart, optimism, maturity, there's 22 subcategories that link to each of these letters, right?
Gotcha.
And through that assessment, I can actually tell you now who are the character risk hires.
Yeah.
So who are low character hire? Yeah. So basically, like these people, for example, let's say someone in the assessment comes out having low self-awareness and low values.
Gotcha.
That's a risk hire.
Yeah.
So you have to decide. I'm not going to tell you what to do,
Right.
but I will give you the signal to tell you whether you should proceed with that person or not.
Gotcha.
In the process. And it's through their own words, right? It's they took the assessment. Right. And then you combine it with the behavioral interview tool that I innovated 10 years ago. And with those two things together, your hiring misfire rate will go down by 65%.
Man, I like that.
So the book really is introducing the model, introducing why we have to move away from resumes and previous experience and pedigree. Do you know that the resume was created in 1619 by Leonardo da Vinci?
No, I did not know that.
So that's how old that tool is. It ain't changed. Right. We're using the same tool from the 1600s.
We're just changing the formats around.
Does it make sense? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And so we got to get smarter about this because a resume is just a marketing document.
So let me ask you this. So what makes your tool different than Myers-Briggs, DISC, was it human synchron?
Right.
Messed that word up. But what makes your tool different?
None of those tools have been validated for hiring. First of all.
Okay. All right.
So they're not validated for hiring. Mine is. That's a big difference. That's a big difference.
Huge.
Secondarily, those are personality assessments.
Okay.
They tell you how someone might think or behave in certain situations. Mine is a character assessment.
Okay.
So I'm telling you someone's degree of work ethic. How hard do they work on a natural basis? Right. How much passion and values do they bring to their work? Yeah. How solution oriented are they, and how mature are they? So these are core building blocks of high performance teams.
I like that.
So they're kind of like non-negotiables.
Yeah.
There's things you'll never be able to get at with a traditional interview process.
Yeah.
So it's a gap in the market, which is okay. Character-based hiring is really something that we need to platform because this is really what's going to distinguish someone from being a great team player from being a poor team player. Yeah. The 4 attributes that I'm talking about, in addition to other things. You could use Myers-Briggs and all these tools once you got them on board to figure out what to do with them, but those tools cannot be utilized for hiring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great point to put out because that's a question people are going to ask. But I truly think the system is flawed. I think a lot of times people are getting leadership positions because they can interview well. They've got all the answers. They know how to do, but when they get into that leadership position and they sit in their desk and they don't know their people, I think one of the biggest mistakes I've seen is people will spend a year in a leadership position and they'll go out and they'll talk to their people. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? And then when it's time to put that evaluation in, they go, hey, can you send me a little bit of what you do? I don't even know what you guys do. Oh,
yeah, it's terrible. Well, the other thing the key thing about this one in leadership is, it's difficult for humans to be at your best under stress and under duress, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's when your character is going to be tested.
Yes.
So if you had low character to begin with, imagine under stress and under duress.
Yeah.
So the whom is really crucial for leader. It actually scales up very well. It's actually better for senior leaders than it is for new joiner entry level people,
Yeah, man.
because
Okay.
that's where you really can. Because these people represent, like, if you're, I was leading an organization of 900 people.
Right.
How I went, 900 people went. So
Yeah.
imagine you get a wrong hire in at someone at my level, and what that means to the productivity of the overall organization.
Yeah.
I might churn and burn people out, stress people out, push people out. Like, none of that allows your business to do what it's there to do and achieve the outcomes you're trying to achieve. And so we had to be really, really picky
Yeah.
and really precise, and use whatever tools that we know that are validated out there to improve our that we get it right. We got to get those positions right.
Yeah, I think I like what you said because if we go with the quote from the movie Remember the Titans,
Oh
attitude
yeah,
reflect leadership, right?
1000%, 1000%. There you go. There you go.
So, what's your take on leadership?
I mean, for me, I used to use John C. Maxwell's definition, what was leadership is influence.
Yeah,
But as I've gotten, older and more mature, I believe it's not just influence; it's influencing towards a positive outcome.
yeah,
Because I can lead you off a bridge, or I can
yeah,
lead you to prosperity. And
yeah,
so, to be a leader has to have some positive intent to it.
right.
Like, someone else is just a boss or a manager or a director pushing you in the direction, but a leader inspires you. A leader motivates you. A
Yeah,
leader brings out the best in everyone around them and gets more out of people than they thought they could actually achieve. And that's what leadership is all about,
yeah,
is tapping into what makes every single person brilliant and bringing that out to the fore so they can shine in front of everybody else.
yeah,
That's what leadership is in my book.
yeah. I like it. I like it, man. So I got to go back to something you talked about earlier is finding the right people, right? Finding the
Right.
right whom and
Yes.
hiring people with the mindset similar to yours. So before we get everybody going out there and trying to find a bunch of mini me's to hire, talk to me a little bit about hiring people with how that can kind of disrupt the flow of an
Right.
organization when I'm hiring people who think exactly like me, who
Right.
do, operate exactly like me, rather than not hiring those people that I may have some
Right.
productive conflict with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a lot of intellectual conflict that's very, very positive.
Yeah.
So, misunderstandings, disagreements, misalignments, that's all in the sphere of productive conflict. You want to have those things.
Yeah.
What you don't want to have conflict in is in values.
Got you.
Like, you don't want to have conflict in basic philosophies.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. In this case, the people that I hired were top-down regimental leaders. They were command and control.
Right.
I'm a servant leader first.
Got you.
So
So you
I'm
flip
looking to
that
serve and
hierarchy up.
support. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I'm at the top of the organization and
Uh,
my two most senior lieutenants are command and control and I'm bottom up, that don't work.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
Got
a
you.
leadership philosophy conflict that we will not be able to resolve.
Right. Got you.
And so that's what I meant in terms of the conflict. It wasn't like when I said hiring people like me, I meant who were a philosophical leadership alignment
Yeah.
with the way that I want to lead an organization,
Got
the
you.
culture that I wanted to create. I think those things are the things you need to know as a leader. What do you stand for as a leader? And you have to make sure that the leaders underneath you, are aligned to that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you create dissonance within your organization. Like, everyone's had like a senior boss who was so cool and like seemed very reasonable, but their
Yeah.
direct boss underneath that person was an evil, terrible manager. Like, how
Right.
do these two people coexist? Well, this guy obviously doesn't know what this guy is doing,
Yeah.
and they're allowing them to do that to the people. And so for me, I never wanted to have that kind of cognitive dissonance in my business. I wanted to make sure that we are at least aligned from a values and from a leadership philosophy standpoint. Everything else we can figure out.
Yeah.
I love the diversity of, every other types of diversity, but in terms of like character alignment, that's
Yeah.
where I believe it's important for us to have some staples, some standards, and some pillars that we stand on when it comes to that.
Yeah. I like that. So let's take a look at where we are now.
Yeah.
We're in a state of, in some cases, disarray, just a lot of uncertainty going on. What are what would you say would be some great tips or tools to provide to some of the leadership that's out there right now, and even some
Right.
individuals who are just part of the team?
Well, I mean, in terms of the external environment, you have to just avoid being triggered because I think that everything out there is trying to trigger you.
Yeah.
And so you just gotta ignore the noise. Like you just kind of gotta block that stuff out because it's designed to just get you out of your sweet spot, out of your game, out of your focus spot.
Yeah.
So once you can do that, the second thing is really just to lean in, like I said, lean into purpose, like lean into find your why when it comes to what are you in it for? Why is this important to you? What's the legacy you want to leave? What are the big problems that you're trying to solve and kind of create your true north or your north star.
Okay.
So that will allow you to kind of march forward every day, knowing you're going to a destination that is important to you and important to others.
Yeah.
Um, and that matters whether you're a teammate or whether you're a leader of an organization, leader of a team. This is what we all should be working for the mission or purpose of the company.
Yeah.
And the mission and purpose can't be shareholder returns because
Yeah.
that is not inspirational to us.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You
Or
know,
John Maxwell says, "Do you care about me? Can I trust you? Can you help me?"
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you got to be bigger than just keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have something more inspiring in the world to do.
Yeah.
And so gotta tap into what is that intent behind what you do. And that will be the thing. When we all serve that, then we can break down the hierarchy. We can actually find abundance in our work. We can find joy in our work. We can bring more of our authentic selves to work because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to achieve this thing together.
Yeah.
And that's where the power of true intentional leadership comes in.
Man, I love that, man. So I love that. I like it. Thanks. I'm gonna break away from that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask you, man. So let's talk about you grew up in Pittsburgh.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going backwards. I'm bouncing
Yeah.
around, but I want to touch on these things, man, because
Mhm.
I love your leadership mind. So the question is, what shaped your leadership mindset? Growing up, your dad, your mom.
My parents,
Yeah.
my first example of leadership. Unfortunately, I was just thinking about this today. Actually, this is the first year of my life that I don't have a parent. So my
Oh,
father passed away last August, and my mother passed away in 2020. And I realized, like, oh my God, this is the first year of my life that I haven't had a parent.
right. Yeah.
And that's really, but what they poured so much into me
Uh-huh.
as a young man, around like just my father was the example. Like he was the stoic, he was disciplined.
Uh-huh.
He really was someone who was very regimented about how he went through his day,
Yeah.
and very steady, very stable, very calm. Just a presence that you could count on every single day of my life. He was there, and
Gotcha.
so that showed me the value of just showing up and consistency because leadership is about consistency,
Right.
like showing up every day. And I never knew if my dad was having a good day or a bad day. I
Gotcha.
just knew that he was there every day
Uh,
and the lights were on every day. We had food on the table every day,
he was
you
performing.
know, and there was no chaos in the household. We had peace in our household.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Uh,
And then the
my
worse than having somebody who every time something happens, the sky is falling, the sky is falling.
right, exactly. No, he created peace.
Yeah.
And he was calm and secure presence, and he created security for us. My mother was the one was the passion. My mother was a social worker when we were growing up, and she became an early childhood educator.
Okay.
And she was always tapping into meaning and passion and purpose. And so she imbued me with the sense of finding something bigger than myself
Yeah.
to serve.
Gotcha.
And because that's how you make an impact and imprint on the world is by serving something bigger than yourself. And so watching my mother pursue her passion,
Uh-huh.
having my father steady hand and security, those two things really inform my leadership
Yeah.
because I'm a passionate leader. Like I love leadership. I live leadership. I don't have tolerance for toxic leadership.
Right.
Like I really, have a problem with that. I declare that as the enemy. Toxic
Okay.
leadership is the enemy.
Yeah.
But also, I have to be consistent and steady and create security and stability in my clients and myself in my home life. And so those two aspects have been with me my entire life.
Yeah. I like it, man. I like it. So when you growing up, so talk to me a little bit about your schooling and the training.
Yeah, so I was very blessed to be put in the gifted program when I was in the third grade. To my mom, she saw something in me and she had me tested. And so I was going to special classes from the third grade. We were playing chess and doing logic problems when other kids
Yeah.
were doing. I mean, it was really, really interesting growing up that
Yeah.
way. And then, um, I went to primarily all-way schools most of my life, including high school. But then I flipped it and went to FAMU for college.
Right.
So I went to
Yes.
HBCU went to HBCU for college,
Yeah.
and that kind of gave me the balance. And so, you get your cultural identity, you figure out, you lean into your blackness and your sense of history and self and
Yeah.
that legacy, and understand what you're carrying into the corporate world. And
Mm.
for me, my whole thing has always been to pave a road behind me, leave a paved, smooth road
Yeah.
behind me, so people can just come and drive on that road. The road that was gravel and had stumps and had
Yeah.
pit hole potholes, all the stuff.
Right.
For me, my job is to clear that path, pave it, so that people behind me can do the same thing, because
Yeah.
people did that for us, right? We had people who
Yes.
paved roads for us. So
Yeah.
our job is to do that. And that's what's different about being a black person, is that my mother told me every day when I left the house, you represent your family and your race.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I talk to other people of different races and I say that to them, they're like, that's a heavy. I'm like, yeah, but y'all don't. Yeah, yeah. Imagine that you've lived your entire life not having to deal with that.
Yeah.
And for successful African Americans, Black people, we carry that. We carry the culture. We
Yeah.
carry all of us.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so
I don't know how
you
many
you will,
times I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm just saying, you'll never understand that pressure, that mindset that
Yeah.
we carry with
Right.
us.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I was always told, you had to be 110% better than the next man
There it is. There
if you want to get your opportunity.
yeah, just to be seen as normal, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. I love it,
Exactly.
man. Shoot. And so now your journey's taking you. Tell them a little bit about you. So where are you now? And then some of the
Right.
places I read everything. I'm like, this man is a world traveler, on an entrepreneur,
Oh
and just
yeah.
in the corporate level, man.
Well, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I'm based right now. I'm in New Jersey, actually, for work.
Okay.
In the last 7 weeks, I've been to Berlin. I've been in Riyadh, Chicago
Wow.
last week. I've been to San Francisco. So I do go all over the place. I've visited 55 countries. I've lived on
Yeah.
four continents. I lived in the U.S., lived in the Middle East, lived
Yeah.
in Southeast Asia, and lived in Latin America over the course of
Yeah.
my life. And so that kind of informs my outlook in terms of, you learn a lot about yourself living
Yeah.
in an unfamiliar context,
Right.
living in a place like Istanbul, Turkey,
Yeah.
living in a place like Jakarta, Indonesia, Sao Paulo, Brazil. You see yourself in different light and different locations. Leaving the U.S. is the first time you leave. My friend Conrad talked about this last weekend. He lost the hyphen. He just became an American for the first
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Because overseas, you're American before you're black.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're American first. Like, you get
Uh-huh.
treated like, oh, this is the American. They won't say the black guy, but this is the American guy.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird to drop the baggage of being an African American when you leave the country,
Yeah.
and being just treated as an American and given all the privilege that Americans have garnered over the last, whatever, 250 years since the Declaration of Independence. So
Yeah.
it's just very interesting. It's a mind job on you, like, oh my God, like, people are seeing me like the human, like they're not there.
Right.
There's no the racial stuff happening. It's just, so it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I recommend it to everybody, if you can live overseas or travel more, just to understand that not all the world is the way that the US is, in
Yeah.
terms of the racial dynamic, and really seeing how people respond to me as a black man overseas, and just respond to my leadership style.
Right.
When I was working in the Middle East, I'm working with 30 different countries all over the Middle East, North
Yeah.
Africa, Russia. And people are people, man. Like,
Yeah.
people are just people. We have the same needs and the same desires. We want to be led correctly. We don't like toxicity. We want to be treated fairly everywhere in the world. And so
Yeah.
it kind of gave me a basis that this stuff that I'm talking about is really global. Like,
Yeah.
it really is needed everywhere. And so that gave me even more of a battery in my back to keep going and keep pushing.
Yeah, man. I mean, and the cool thing is you're leading people from different cultures, different languages, and you're proving. That's huge. I love it.
Yes. So when people talk about diversity, expertise, I'm like, y'all don't. I don't know where you got your diversity. I can tell you some diversity expertise. On a Monday, I taught the Pakistan, Algeria, South Africa, and Kenya on the same day.
Yeah.
Then I went to Russia. That's some diversity experience for you.
Yeah, exactly. Traditions, all these different
Oh
things.
my gosh, it's completely different.
Yeah. Wow. I love it, man. So what you got coming up?
So I'm actually going to be publishing another book very soon, probably the top of the year, called Grow with Whom, because I want to make sure that the individual reader has something as well, not just for people who want to be hired, but I also want to make sure that Whom is a platform for character growth for all of us.
Yeah.
And so that book will be coming up very soon. And so that people can actually take the psychometric assessment and then use it more like a Myers-Briggs, use it more like one of those kind of tools that can help you elevate yourself, elevate your character so that you can achieve the outcomes that you want to achieve for your life. And so that's coming up soon. A lot more travels in my future. I guess I'm gonna be on the road. I don't know when I'm gonna see my house, but it's a good thing I love what I do, and I'm very, very blessed and very grateful for the life that I've been able to build and construct out of my passion.
Yeah. So talk to me about, so you'll have Grow with Whom and you'll have Hire Whom.
Right.
Do each of them come with a workbook or a training program that you've even put together?
So Grow with Whom definitely will be brought into my coaching practice. And Hire the Right Whom is an entire ecosystem company platform. Like, it's an entire business wrapped around that. The cool thing about Grow with Whom is that when you take the psychometric assessment, you're going to have an AI coach.
Okay.
And so actually a coach who can take your psychometric assessment results and give you a 12-month coaching program that's just you and the AI, and you can subscribe to that service and really get it. It's always on 24/7 for you to tap into and to grow yourself.
Okay. So as you travel across the world, around the world, what are the topics that you're talking to, and when you address their keynote audiences?
Right. So I'm going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at the end of January, and the topic there is leadership fatigue.
Okay.
And it's an interesting topic, especially coming from that part of the world where they're known to be, very, very sharp business people.
Right.
But this idea of leadership fatigue is, I lend it towards what I call personal effectiveness, which is, if you don't have the right mindset, the right habits, and the right self accountability, like I said, that self love, then you will not be able to serve anybody else.
Got you.
Because you are getting, basically, because we carry the world on our shoulders as leaders, right? And so leadership fatigue is a real concept. And so really what I want to talk about is and begin talking about how to build resilience.
Okay.
And one of the things I'm going to be talking about with them is going to be called breaking the calendar, which is how do you create time for renewal and for like self-love practices throughout the day.
Nice.
So that you keep yourself powered up, so you can keep maintaining that momentum that we've been talking about the entire evening tonight, which is basically, you cannot maintain momentum if you don't have the energy, and you cannot have the energy if you're not pouring into yourself.
Yeah, well, you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Exactly. And that's why they tell you on a plane, put your mask on first before you put the mask on somebody else.
Yeah. You
got to take care of yourself as a leader, and it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
You're taking care of yourself so that you can take care of everybody else.
Yeah. True.
But if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're taking yourself last, then you're going to burn out, and then it's going to be bad for everybody around you.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. Because if you're feeling bad, and you know how when you get sick, nothing gets right.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You ruin the entire household vibe for like a week,
Oh, he's got an attitude. So I had a question, and it slipped my mind. No, here we go. It happens sometime, man.
It's all good, man.
Yeah. I tell people, I don't forget. I just replace it with more interesting stuff.
I like that.
But let's ask you this. So we're talking about you, right? Taking care of you. Where can we find you when you're not speaking, when you're not coaching?
So I still love to travel. Like I try to link travel to my work.
Okay.
So for example, this week I'm here in New Jersey for 3 days. I'm going to New York to have some fun over the weekend. So
Okay.
I try to make, the both things happen together.
Yeah.
But in general, I have a very regimented, routine at home.
Okay.
That includes exercise, includes meditation, includes eating right, includes learning every single day, listening to podcasts like yours, listening to TED Talks, just trying to get a little bit better every single day.
Yeah.
And that's what I call self-love, is basically making sure I'm pouring into myself every single day, and getting enough sleep, eating well, drinking enough water during the day,
So what is enough
exercising. 6 to 8 for me.
Okay. All right. Cool.
6 to 8.
Interrupted you.
But I take a nap every day. If I'm home, I get a nap in every day. So that's the greatest thing about being an entrepreneur, is getting my nap in from 3 to 4:30 every day. That's where you're gonna find me, is in my bed asleep.
I like it, regimen. My brother used to say, "Man, I kick everybody out of the house at a certain time because I'm getting my sleep." Yeah, I like it. I interrupted you. You said sleep and then exercising.
Yeah, exercise, sleep, water, hydration, and then learning, and then the last piece, which is equally important, is gratitude.
Yeah.
So having a gratitude practice, basically just articulating, even for a minute, all the things you're grateful for every day, because that keeps you grounded in the present, and it prevents anxiety and prevents depression. Gotcha. Because if you can articulate all the things you're grateful for in the now, then you don't have to worry about past regret. And you don't got to get too ahead of yourself with what's going to happen tomorrow. You can just say, listen, right now, my life, I'm good. It's enough. Like, I'm abundant. I have everything I need in this moment. And you got to affirm yourself. I also I have a playlist I call affirmation jams. I listen to it all day. Like, it's like on all day. So I'm affirming myself.
I like it.
All day long. Like, when I'm on planes, I was on a plane for 2 hours. I'm just jamming to my affirmation jams, just like pouring into myself, keeping my mind right at all times.
Yeah.
So that so when I'm in front of my audience tomorrow, I can pour into them abundantly and don't have to worry about any deficits, and then keep doing that. And that's kind of how it works for me.
I like it, man. I think one of my favorite quotes is, "The mind in itself can create a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. And if you allow it to stray, you'll be all over the place." So I like that. You got to keep something going on in your head to remind you how great you are and the things you got going on, and how you were set up for success. I love it.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to be closing it out, man. And I got to ask you, is there anything that you like to lead the audience with?
I think importantly, momentum is about making sure that I said it several times, taking care of yourself, but having those 5 types of love, making sure that you have the right, you're pouring into yourself, you have the right people around you, you have interests, that you're pursuing your interests, you have a purpose, and take care of the money.
Yeah. And
you will be able to maintain your momentum.
I like it, man. I like it. Well, Omar, how can they reach you?
So easily omarlharris.com, on LinkedIn, Omar L. Harris, on Instagram, omarl.harris. So please find me in any one of those 3 places, and look forward to linking in with you, chopping it up, and supporting you in any way that I can.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. You truly are a momentum shifter, man. I love this. We had a great conversation. Went by pretty quick.
Always does.
I'll make sure I put your links in the show description as well. And so, hey, like I said, you're a true momentum shifter, man. Thank you for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, Omar Harris, a powerhouse leader, author, and coach who knows a thing or two about driving results and building high-performing teams. That's it for the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Until next time, just keep pushing, because nobody's going to do it for you. Take care.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.